this afternoon. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni welcomed a delegation of business people from South Korea, led by Kwon Hooker, Cho Shang-yu and Kim Jim-wook, all directors of Heineni Limited. Heineni Limited is a registered company here in Uganda with its headquarters in Nakauka, Entebbe Road. During the meeting held at State House Entebbe, President Museveni and his guests discussed areas of mutual interest and cooperation. Kwon Hooker disclosed their intention to establish a plant that will manufacture automotive components, among which will be electric batteries, to complement Kira Motor Corporation. He further emphasized that the profits they will get from the investment will not be taken out of Uganda, but rather be reinvested in the country for development. The president also endorsed their investment initiative, but emphasized the importance of safety of the materials to be used, which must be subjective to the required standards under the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. The National Forests Authority has partnered with Always Be Forward, an organization, to launch a 50 million tree planting exercise at Kololo Secondary School. The initiative aims at promoting environmental mindfulness and commemorate Nelson Mandela Day. Tree planting will be carried out for 5 days.
Today we are launching a 50 million tree planting countrywide, starting here in Kololo Senior Secondary School. We had a very good function, and I'm very happy that I've brought on board our partners in the National Forest Authority, which we shall partner together to promote this, to actualize this ambitious program of the 50 million trees. And our calculation was about the 46 million Ugandan as per the census, the recently concluded census, that if everybody plants a tree, then we can come around that. So we rounded up to the figure of 50 million. Because the environment had been depleted, so we are trying to reconstruct the environment. So by our program of 50 million trees for the period of 5 years.
Initiative is very good. Uganda, as you know, the forest cover in the country has been declining up to a time when we had reached 90%. These initiatives that plant trees increase the tree cover in the country and make our country green once again. When you look at the statistics, we have now moved from 90% in 2015 to now 13% forest cover. This one is all attributed to these initiatives that plant trees. So at NFA, we are glad that the tree planting campaigns has gone to schools and probably churches, which hold a lot of land that can be used for planting trees. So anybody who brings an idea of planting trees, we are willing to support, we are willing to give seedlings, and we are willing to provide the technical expertise on how to plant the trees and how to care for them. We must move from mere planting to growing. You see, planting is just putting a seedling into the soil, what we have done. But if we don't look after it, and we don't care for it, it may not survive.
Leaders in North Bukedi are troubled by the rising extortion within parish development model committees, which they say and argue is hindering the government program's advancement in the area. While officiating at the training, SACCO chairpersons in Mbale City, Samuel Musiho, the resident district commissioner of Kibuko district, highlighted that many beneficiaries of the PDM remain unaware of its intricacies, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation by SACCO leaders.
The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations held a training session for Parish Development Model Committee chairpersons and circle leaders on how to assess the program's productivity indicators for rural households. Samuel Musiho pointed out that extortion is a major limitation preventing locals from benefiting from PDM.
Extortion is still a challenge to parish development model. This is one reason, because we deviated from the action of selecting beneficiaries. Let us stick to the proper method of selecting beneficiaries, and then we disburse to these people.
Juliet Najuma Senkole, the resident district commissioner of Ubutebo, emphasized the need to prioritize mindset change among the beneficiaries.
You find after getting money from the bank, instead of going straight to do what they requested for, they first go to shops, buy some few items, buy what to eat and mattresses, of which it was not part of the plan they had. So we are saying that sensitization, creating awareness to work on the mindset is very, very important.
The team leader of Productivity Acceleration at the Ministry of Science, Technology Secretariat, Dr. Joshua Isiko, stated that they are focusing on equipping the beneficiaries with skills to benefit beyond the expected profit from their elected enterprises.
We have to go beyond the milk, the raw milk from the udder, and begin looking at yogurts, begin looking at ice cream, begin looking at blends which give you cheese, and these things should be within the community. We must have a factory of that at every district, which we call a district a factory. Let processing come closer to the village. Let a person who is working from a rural household pass a factory which is processing their raw materials they are producing. So that's the way to go.
Speaking to the participants via Zoom, the Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, encouraged the people of Bukedi to exploit the opportunities provided by the PDM to change the narrative from hand-to-mouth existence.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, Benjamin Kumumanya, has warned civil servants against the escalating cases of corruption. Meanwhile, Busoga Kingdom's effort to revive tourism have reached new heights, stimulating local businesses and encouraging domestic tourism.
All the way from the president, the cabinet, and all other levels, is that there has been widespread allegations of selling of jobs in local governments. And now the people who participate in the recruitment process at the administration level are the people we had in this room. But also we are sending a message, because remember, in each district, we put there a structure which plans for the district. And this structure is called the Technical Planning Committee. And it has like membership of the 9 heads of departments, plus strategic division heads. They are all 15. Now we are lucky here we had the 3. So we are sending a message that first and foremost, it is counter-development, it is criminal, it's an ESCO, it is biblically seen. Some people want to claim it's an allegation. Now if it's an allegation, we want people to stand and be counted and inform everybody on a full-time basis that for them they are not part of the corruption. Thirdly, we are saying, when we are advertising for jobs, let's put there a statement that these jobs are for free.
We have assigned some sub-county chiefs the duties of senior assistant secretaries. They are going to be appraising staff who are in U4. How will this one be handled? Since the principle is that the appraiser should either be at the same rank or above.
The client charter is being picked from the draw of the human resource when that time comes of assessment and all that. I mean, should we continue like this? Is there a modality that we put in place to make sure this is going to be effective apart from just introducing you. Thank you very much.
2018 bwe yayidda twamusaba amadaala atuwa amadaala batuwe amasanyalaze n'amaadhi nenda okwebaza president nti yatuwa sente twakola amadaala banda buti ekakuba eri wa amadaala gosobola okuwalampa paka itale era kyaife n'okustrengtheninga oba okuba nti tulaga simbo eya enono yaife.
In Chikube, district schools that disregard patriotism face a serious ultimatum from the government. This stern measure underscores a new initiative aimed at upholding the national values in education. Meanwhile, at Buhimba Secondary School, more than 260 students have just completed a comprehensive patriotism skills training program. During the graduation ceremony, Resident District Commissioner emphasized the importance of integrity, urging the graduates to abstain from any involvement in corruption attempts.
Over 260 students from Buhimba Secondary School in Chikube District have successfully completed a patriotism training course. The RDC of Chikube, Imran Tumusime, noted with concern that some schools disregard this training despite it being a government initiative.
Even when I wrote,
the RDC also appealed to patriots to always say no to corruption, emphasizing that corruption in Chikube district has caused people to suffer without services.
It's a very bad disease. If you don't fight it very aggressively, it can sabotage all well-intentioned government programs. Here in Chikube, we are all aware, our politicians, some of them, not all of them, are getting involved in corruption tendencies. Some of our civil servants are doing the same. But I used today this opportunity when I was addressing students from
Alan Tumusime, the Patriotism Coordinator of Bunyoro Region, and Susan Balongo, the Chief Instructor, appreciated government for this initiative of the youth.
In a special way. Thank you very much for lighting this kind of patriotism in Chikube District.
The Chikube District LC5 Chairman Peter Banura and Susan Kabasindi, the female youth councillor, promised their total support.
In their patriotism course, the course was so short, but they have managed to gain skills, which I'm sure is going to help them in their daily life, because patriotism, it's a sign of love for the country. It means love for the country, love for one another, and love for themselves. So we think, and we are hopeful, that it has installed much discipline in them, which is going to help them in the outside world.
Amanya gange nze Namtebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanya eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo 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 era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Monday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Stake 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Ugandan National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Thank you so much for watching and welcome now to Business News. The East African Marine Transport is introducing a new locally made ship on the Mwanza, Tanzania, Port Bell, Uganda route. MV Mpungu, the first scheduled roll-on-roll-off vessel, is expected to boost bulk cargo transport on the Central Corridor route. In an engagement with the business community in Kampala, Green Road, the vessel's operator promised competitive cargo transport charges.
MV Mpungu, a privately owned vessel, is expected to have its maiden voyage from Port Bell in Luzira to Port of Mwanza in Tanzania in August this year. The 96-meter roll-on, roll-off vessel seeks to transform regional trade and transport.
If you understand that, that means there's no double handling, there's no time wastage in offloading a truck, loading a truck. If you're carrying a container, your truck gets onto the ship with the container on board. When you get to Mwanza, you drive off with your container all the way down to the port. And that's the unique offering.
Lake Victoria, the world's largest tropical lake, offers vast potential for trade and better connection. However, this massive water body is underutilized, says David Musoke, the acting managing director, Uganda Railway Corporation.
So when we have Mpungu joining the state vessels, we had the 3, now we have 2. We expect to buy other 2. At least there is hope and there are chances of higher business in the region.
The owners and operators of MV Mpungu have held a business engagement event ahead of the vessel's official launch.
So imagine I'm a small manufacturer. Are we only focusing on FCL so that if I'm a consolidator, I stay away from MV Mpungu, or that's a solution that you're going to cater to as well?
You know, with logistics, we're in the world of risk. So I just want the team there to clarify what they are planning to do as in regards to insurance.
The event in Kampala on the theme facilitating an efficient integrated logistics system through Lake Victoria via MV Mpungu sought to showcase the niche of the new vessel and also attract business.
2020 eventually got to a point where we could sign the financial clause and do all the legalese, and it's taken 4 years to get to this point here where we actually have a vessel and are now sitting in front of you to convince you that the dream we had is something you need to buy into.
Currently, we will start with 2 sailing, but at some point in time, we will do 3 sailing because the rotation plan allows us to do 3 sailing, but that is always cargo dependent and how you're buying the slot.
So you're welcome to do business with us and we look forward to more engagements with you. Thank you.
Owned by the East African Marine Transport and operated by Green Road, a regional logistics company, MV Mpungu is the first scheduled roll-on, roll-off vessel on the Mwanza Port Bell route. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
On the international scene, at least 1 person was killed in renewed anti-government protests across Kenya early this week as police clashed with demonstrators who are demanding that President William Ruto steps down. Youth-led protests that broke out a month ago against proposed tax hikes have continued even after Ruto withdrew the legislation and fired almost his whole cabinet. A professor of history and international relations at the United States International University in Nairobi, Kenya, has more in the following report.
Before, he should stop chest thumping and look more reconciliatory than he has appeared. The behavior yesterday of the police and some other people, including some activity today, are not very encouraging. And so the Gen Z feel encouraged and then empowered to continue because they can deliver what no politician can. So it is a question of the president reassessing himself before anything else.
Right. They're also calling on the president to step down, despite the fact that President Ruto rejected the finance bill and he has promised to make reforms.
Forward as to why he should not step down, because the deputy president, to some people, he is not acceptable. So, and even the call for the stepping down is a long-term project where they are talking about registering in big numbers. These are people who want to operate within the law, within the constitution and the spirit of the national anthem. And so they are talking about registering in big numbers to ensure that he gets out in 2027 anyway.
Following the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, the media are working to verify details of the attack and to combat fast-spreading mis- and disinformation. Ethics experts are looking at how the attack is being framed.
It's a photo seen around the world. Taken by veteran AP journalist Ivan Bucci, the image captures the immediate aftermath of the attempted assassination of Trump at a campaign rally.
It's a normal rally. You know, I've done it hundreds of times, and over my left shoulder, I heard several pops, and I knew immediately it was gunfire.
Bucci is one of dozens of photojournalists covering the Butler, Pennsylvania rally Saturday. The shooting left one bystander dead and injured Trump and others. Images from that day are described by some U.S. media outlets as iconic. But ethics experts are watching to see how, in a polarized time, media and others use the coverage of the attack.
The media needs to stay on the facts and tell the whole story the way it is, but it doesn't have to actually exaggerate. It doesn't have to add outrage to its own actual headlines.
Vincent says the portrayal of the moment will play into the political discourse.
The real ethics of it, I feel, comes in interpreting where the picture is, what it stands for in the narrative about American culture, politics, guns, violence.
For photojournalist Bucci, his priority was documenting the events unfolding right in front of him.
I knew that this was a moment in American history that had to be documented. I mean, it's our job as journalists to do this work.
In the hours after the shooting, social media mentions of Trump skyrocketed, says cyber analyst PeakMetrics. Most posts were sympathetic, but a smaller percentage spread disinformation and conspiracy theories. That includes baseless claims that political parties on either side are responsible.
Republican Vice President candidate J.D. Vance took center stage at the third night of the Republican National Convention Wednesday. Donald Trump's running mate embraced an America First approach to foreign policy and security.
Foreign labor, we're going to fight for American citizens and their good jobs and their good wages.
Relatively unknown across the United States, Vance, a Yale Law School graduate who served in the U.S. military for 6 years, has served in elected office for about a year and a half. He was introduced by his wife, Usha Vance.
Chosen to help lead our country through some of its greatest challenges. I am grateful to all of you for the trust you have placed in him.
Wednesday night was a chance not only for Vance to introduce himself to the American public, but to prove his foreign policy credentials.
Together, we will make sure our allies share in the burden of securing world peace. No more free rides for nations that betray the generosity of the American taxpayer.
State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, has called on school proprietors to emphasize sports and games to nurture students' talents. His message was conveyed by Personal Assistant Abdul Karim Mwaswa at Wakatai SS in Luwero District.
Despite the heavy downpour in areas of Zirobwe and nearby regions in Luwero, the rain did not stop students at Wakatai SSS from competing in various sports activities. The sports day held at the school playground saw enthusiastic participation from students in multiple schools and games. Despite the heavy downpour in areas of Zirobwe and nearby regions in Luwero, the rain did not stop students at Wakatai SSS from competing in various sports activities. The sports day, held at the school playground, saw enthusiastic participation from students in multiple sports and games despite the challenging weather conditions. During this year's sports day, Kakumi House emerged victorious with 149 points in all sports activities, followed by Nile with 147 points, Renzori with 117 points, and Kakungulu with 90 points. The winners were awarded trophies and certificates. In his speech, delivered by Personal Assistant Abdul Karim Mwaswa, Minister Dr. Jesse Muyingo emphasized the importance of sports in the new national curriculum and encouraged schools to prioritize it.
Ekirungi kyoba muyamba okukuza kubanga eri abazadde abatayagala mizannyo bangi naye nga ate eri abayimiriddewo ku ki abazadde tuyambe abaana bakuze ebitono byabwe nga tubawa ebyo bye bakozesa mu mizannyo gyabwe.
The function was also attended by the Speaker of Luwero and the headmaster of the school, Haji Kabuye, who commended the government's educational initiatives and the new curriculum.
Abazadde muyigirize abaana empisa ez'obubumbwa ez'obwakatonda kubanga ebintu bino bitandikira mu maka gaffe nga tubiraba bwe buggalawo ebyemizannyo mu ssomero lino ebiri competitive nga bitambulira ku nnyumba zaffe tetuyita interhouse okuzaayo katono mabega emabega katono nnyo, I beg your pardon. Tulina ennyumba nnya ze twateekateeka abayizi baffe n'abasomesa ne ba members of staff ze bakompitingiramu mu byemizannyo ne mu by'okusoma.
The 2024 Secondary School Sports Association Ball Games 2 has climaxed in Soroti City. The closing ceremony was graced by State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang, who called for thorough disciplinary action regarding the use of non-bona fide players.
After 9 days of exhilarating action, the 2024 Uganda Secondary School Sports Association Ball Games 2 have climaxed in Soroti. It was a contest in 6 disciplines, including rugby sevens, athletics, netball, volleyball, handball, and basketball 3x3. Bukedia Comprehensive School won both boys and girls volleyball titles after victories over St. Elizabeth Girls Mbarara, Gongo Vocational, respectively.
Our girls volleyball team find on the first attempt they come and take the trophy here in Boro Games 2 that we are hosted in Teso College Arrowet here in Soroti City. In the same vein, we have also taken the trophy for volleyball boys. Last year in Kabare we reached on finals, but we ended up with a silver medal. But here this time God has said, Bukedia Comprehensive School, take the trophy. This is your year. Now, as I talk, Bukedia Comprehensive School is the Narongo and Sarongo of volleyball of the Boro Games 2 2024.
In netball, St. Mary's Chitende beat Wakiso rivals Budo SS 34-24 in a one-sided final to retain their accolade. However, Chitende failed to defend their basketball 3x3 title as they managed to finish third, with St. Noah taking it home after beating Nabisunsa 11-2. The boys 3x3 basketball final between Mbogo Mixed and Budo SS was marked with controversy that led to the arrest of Mbogo student Nguti Shafik of Congolese descent.
Can this man be 14 years? And this guy is 14 years. Can this man be 14 years?
This followed intervention by State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang, who reminded schools of the new law that criminalizes use of non-bona fide players. The player was taken to police, and the minister also ordered the arrest of head teacher and games teacher.
14 years, I said, which class are you? He said he was in senior one. Senior one. I said, but do you look really 14-year-old? Can you imagine? I have directed that school is called what? Mbogo. First of all, the head teacher of Mbogo must record a statement. The sports teacher, according to the law, must also record a statement, because you know the problem, you people, there's a law. We are not joking. We can't allow us, the elders, we participate in Kidwe. Why? And by the way, I direct investigations on all the two teams. That is in Mbogo SS, and which team was that again? Budo SS. You can imagine when I went to watch handball, it was children playing. When I was watching basketball 3x3, it was men. What is happening? 20 is 20. 20 is not 21.
Bampewo Ntake took the boys' handball title after beating Ntare School 29-17, while Mbogo Mixed won the girls' title after beating Kawanda 13-8. Jinja SS won boys rugby following a 17-0 win over Kira College Butiki, with Nkoma retaining the girls' accolade following a 7-0 win over Jinja SS. Athletics was contested in the 19 Uganda Secondary School Sports Association zones, with Acholi winning the overall, followed by Bukedi and West Nile. The top 4 teams in each sport won slots to represent Uganda at next month's Federation of East Africa Secondary Schools Association Games, to be hosted at the Bukedia Comprehensive and Amas College. Mashomiro Victor, UBC News.
That is all we had for you this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the day and our next program. Bye-bye.